is God. All there is. No more doubt or confusion. I release pain of illusion. Yes, there's only one solution. Yeah, yeah. What I found is oh so simple. Deeper love in a temple, and I found it in the stillness of my soul. 'Cause all there is God. Oh, yeah. All there is God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All there is God. Let me hear your voice. All there is God. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, take me back to the beginning. I feel the Spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make me willing. Yeah. All there is God. Oh, yeah. All there is God. Oh, everywhere you turn. All there is God.
All there is love.
All there is love.
All there is peace.
All there is peace. And it passes all understanding.
All there is truth.
All there is truth.
All there is God.
All there is God.
All there is God.
All there
All there is God. God is all there is.
all there is. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Take me back to the beginning. Feel my spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make me willing. Yeah. All there is God. All there is God, yeah. All there is God. Oh, God, everywhere you turn. All there is
heart is breaking today, but I'm not broken yet. I try to be optimistic, even though I'm upset. I won't live in fear of this great unknown. Life as we knew it is gone forever. What will it be like the next time we're together? I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. I look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. There's a time for everything, everything in its time. I'm holding on by a thread before I lose my mind. How much more suffering can this world stand? We're all socially distanced, we can't go anywhere. How did we get here? Sometime life's unfair. I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. I look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. Then I think of all I have to be thankful for. My family and friends, I need nothing more. I choose to live in joy, no one can take away. I hold my head up high, I keep pressing on to the prize before me. When it's over and done, I'm keeping the faith to see a better day. I look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. We'll see a better day. We'll see a better day.
Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back to the first time. 1,000 cups of tea, but not like this one. 1,000 breaths we breathe, but not like this one. 1,000 suns will rise, but not like this one. 1,000 lullabies, but not like this one. let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the first time. 1,000 passing smiles. Come on, sing it. But not like this one. 1,000 starlit skies. But not like this one. 1,000 words to choose. But not like this one. 1,000 I love yous. But not like this one. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the first time. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the first time. I'm with a brand new pair of eyes, so that we may finally see. Yeah. 1,000 cups of tea, 1,000 gifts received, 1,000 fields of green, 1,000 farewells will grieve, and 1,000 lives conceived. Come on, sing it. But not like this one. 1,000 hands will hold, but not like this one. 1,000 stories told, but not like this one. 1,000 beauties to behold, but not like this one. And 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. And 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. Put your hand up on your heart with us right now. 1,000 hearts you'll know, but not like this one. So let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the first time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday People of Diversity service. We are a multi-faith community and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. We have a group of 10 different faith speakers, and we couple them with 10 different musical positive music artists. And at the beginning of every 10-week series, we give them a one-word topic. And everybody takes their turn and sends videos in on their week. And Philip takes it, puts it all together, and makes our service, what you're watching now. So if you would like to join us with this endeavor, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and push that donate button. We appreciate all the tithes and offerings that we get, and this is your last chance. No, there'll be one more on Christmas Day to to make a donation, and at the end of the year you'll get a letter. At the beginning of the year you'll get a letter with all your tithes in it if you want to use that for tax purposes. So there you go. That's all the more reason. So you're up.
All right. Last week we had Oracle gave our first talk on charity, right?
No.
No? Second. He was coupled with Victor Morgado. Today we have Shaman Jerry Nettesheim, and she is coupled with Andrew Bentham Riley.
He's new.
Yes, I nailed it. And next week we have Rev Sue with Kristen Hope Justice. Nailed it. 2 in a row. I'm on a roll. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
Past services are available at People of Diversity Facebook page, Facebook group, and YouTube.
Yes.
That YouTube page we spent last week, and it is finished. All of the thumbnails are up. All of the descriptions are in. All of the titles are the same. It is very easy to navigate now. Go and have fun and enjoy.
Now you can go on and look for playlists. So
Yes.
say you're interested in all of the talks on respect. You can go in and push the playlist for respect, and it'll give you the list of all the different faith perspectives on respect. Or if you're interested in learning more about the Baha'i faith, you go in and you push the Baha'i faith playlist, and it will give you all of the Baha'i talks on all the topics. So it's a good resource, especially we're hoping that it's going to be useful, and we're going to let some of these local professors know that teach the religion classes. So we think it's going to be a really good resource for a lot of people. So check it out.
Yeah. Okay, so deep dive, 11:45 to 12:15 precisely, so as not to dig into your afternoon. It gives us a chance to visit, hang out, in some cases ask questions of the speaker. In other cases we just bounce around what the topic was and what that speaker spoke of. Second broadcast happens at 5:45 in the afternoon. That's also what we pinned to the top of the page, on the page and the group, for you to double back and check out for a second shot, or to send someone back for. That's also how you get notifications on Sunday morning. If you're a member of People of Diversity page or group, you'll get a notification. Oh, look, there's a little dog at church. You'll get a notification Sunday morning. Push the button, and you'll be connected. I think that's all I know.
Okay. Each week we bless a country. Excuse me. Goodbye. Each week we bless a country. So if you have any facts, pictures, personal stories, rumors, whatever, about the country that we're blessing next week, send them to the email address below, and we'll use them in our country blessing.
No rumors for next week's country.
No rumors?
There's enough rumors about that country.
Okay.
Yes.
Next week's country is Ireland. All right. This week's country is Iraq. And I tell you what, I really couldn't find any uplifting, fun facts about Iraq. It's a place that truly needs our prayers. So, okay. Iraq is located in Western Asia. It's twice the size of Idaho and has 42,400,000 people. They are completely Muslim, 66% Shiite Muslim and 32% Sunni Muslim. Mesopotamia, which is the world's oldest civilization, was located in Iraq. And the world's oldest writing was found in southern Mesopotamia and is thought to have originated in 3400 BC. Iraq has been rocked by conflict since the 1970s. Saddam Hussein was Iraq's president from 1979 until 2003, and he was extremely brutal. He was captured when his government was toppled in 2003, and he was executed in 2006 for crimes against humanity. Years of conflict are responsible for Iraq being ranked as the second most nation being impacted by terrorism and the 9th most dangerous country in the world to visit. It also ranks the second worst country for gender inequality. Has the world's 5th largest oil reserves, producing 148 billion barrels in 2018. And this is the only kind of cool, not depressing fact I found. Several important inventions came from Iraq. The 60-second minute, the 60-minute hour, the wheel, the world's first maps, and the first calendar. All originated in Iraq. So, as I said, it's a place that sorely, sorely needs our prayers, needs our attention, needs our love. So let's hold the people of Iraq in our hearts, knowing they need the same things in their lives that we want, and that's peace, abundance, a little serenity, a little calm. So let's hold them in our hearts and say these words together. May peace prevail in Iraq. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
All right. So, without further ado, we should dive in. We'll get 2 songs from Andrew Bentham Riley to start things off. We'd like to welcome him to the pod family. He's one of Victor's friends from up in Canada. And from what I've been able to investigate so far is actively writing music and putting it out there for folks to judge and being involved in songwriting contests and all kinds of things up there in Canada. So we welcome him to the tribe. And Jerry Nettersheim will give us our talk on charity this week. And without further ado, we'll see you on the other side.
Hi everyone, my name's Andrew Bentham Riley. Thanks for having me in the pod this week for the presentation on charity. Thanks to Scott and my good friend Victor, who you've seen in the pod before, for connecting us. And I have a couple songs to share with you today that I think connect well. The first one I'm going to play is an original of mine called The Axe Forgets. Here in where I'm from, and I know all throughout the world, homelessness is a really serious issue. I kind of wrote this song with that in mind. So just kind of to give us time to give some thought to those, who could benefit from some giving and stuff, especially this time of year, this season of giving. It's called The Axe Forgets. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Much to do to prepare for the coming winter. Not much the poor man can do to survive. And staring down the barrel of his wasted lives. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. The axe forgets, but the the tree remembers. How much does it take for a veteran to break into two? How many holes in their souls have they survived? Staring down their hollow soul as you walk on by. Oh, the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Yes, the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Remembers the swing, remembers the wind, remembers the sound of the smile that you left with. Remembers the swing, remembers the rain, remembers the sound of the smile that you wore in vain, that you wore in vain. Yes, the axe forgets. Oh, the axe forgets. These veins do what they can to keep warm. Cracks in the streets feel like home to me, and I might survive. Staring down the young one's pain, it just takes one bad day. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Remembers the swing, remembers the wind, remembers the sound of the smile that you left with. Remembers the swing, remembers the rain, remembers the sound of the smile that you wore in vain, that you wore in vain. Yes, the axe forgets. Oh, the axe forgets. All right, this next one is a cover song, "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. I think it has a really good message that ties into the theme of charity, and just, giving our brothers and sisters the time and a shoulder to lean on if they need it. I know the first song I did, "The Axe Forgets," kind of highlighted some issues around homelessness and just trying to help cast the light to that issue. And I think, even just giving someone the time to lean on can be as easy as, reminding someone of what their name is. So, yeah, lean on me. Thanks, guys, for having me in the pod. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow. Those no one can fill, those of your needs that you won't let show. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. If you just call me. If you just call me. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Scott and Becky. Thank you guys so very much for having me on today. Happy holiday season to everyone. I'm Shamama Bean. I'm a Peruvian trained shaman of the Q'ero lineage, and it is my privilege and honor today to share with you some medicine and some thoughts around the concept of charity from a shamanic point of view. So let's start out with, well, what is charity? Charity, simply put, is voluntarily giving help when there's a need. This is not limited only to monetary assistance. It can also include the giving of our time or our talents to people as well. Say, for example, cooking for the infirm, teaching someone how to read, teaching someone how to manage their money. These are just a few of very many ways that we can help someone in a charitable way. And also understand, please, that charity doesn't always have to be a grand gesture. It can be something as simple as holding a door open for someone, or smiling at someone who's going through a rough time, or providing a listening ear to someone who really needs to vent. So, having been on the giving and the receiving end of charity, I can tell you it makes a world of difference. Now, while charity is something that can be done every day, there's something about the holiday season that really makes us a bit more sensitive to the needs of others. I think that celebrating collectively, while we're all caught up in that holiday spirit, it also makes us subconsciously aware of the suffering of other people, and we want everybody to be happy and cheerful. So our giving goes up, our charitable acts go up. And I think this is because on a subconscious level, we all realize that we're one. And plus, being charitable, giving and receiving feels really, really good. And there's a satisfaction that comes from giving. And this satisfaction is our hearts opening up whenever we get to exercise our compassion muscle. And the satisfaction of receiving comes from the alleviation of a sense of hopelessness. It helps us to understand that we are loved and cared for and that we're seen. So in all the talks that I've given so far for the pod, the concept of Aini has been mentioned. And this is a Quechua word that means to be in right relationship with something, be it in right relationship with ourselves, with others, or in right relationship with our environment. Charity has the power to bring us into right relationship with one another because it follows natural and spiritual law. What is that law? Well, every belief system has a truism. And a lot of sacred texts, including the Quran and the Bible, have a principle of whatever a man sows, he shall also reap, or something to that effect. So, what does that mean? Some of us tend to interpret this reaping and sowing has to do with karma, that we generate karma for the things that we do. In some extremes, it can even promote ideas of seeking revenge and even exchange of like for like. Good is rewarded while evil is punished. However, this concept of reaping and sowing is a lot, it's a lot bigger than merely a measure for measure payback. Okay? And in some sense, it really has to be something bigger than that, logically speaking, because we know in our own lives that good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. And a lot of times we get stuck pondering and sucked into a black hole of depression trying to figure out who's deserving of good things and who isn't, when it really isn't our place to judge the worthiness of another human being. Okay. So what does this reaping and sowing mean? It speaks to spiritual and natural math. It speaks of multiplication. For example, 1 kernel of corn. 1 ear of corn holds typically 800 kernels. 1 corn plant can grow up to 4 ears of corn. That is 3,200 potential corn plants from 1 single kernel. Sow 1 seed, and under the right conditions, it yields many, enough to propagate and feed others. Okay? Another way that this multiplication shows itself is, have you ever taken a pebble and dropped it into the pond and see the ripples? You ever notice that the ripples always will have a greater circumference than the pebble that displaced the water? And these ripples radiate out and out and out until the energy dissipates or something else interrupts the flow. Therefore, we can apply our own actions to the spiritual law of seed time and harvest, and we can expect that one act can give way to many, and that the impact of our actions is almost always bigger than the act itself. Any human activity impacts the energetic realm and causes it to radiate outwardly. And if we are really, really fortunate, we get to see the impacts of our charitable acts radiate outwardly the same way. So, every year for the last decade, I end up watching some version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. We're talking about Muppets, we're talking about Jim Carrey, we talk about the latest one that I watched with George C. Scott. I have even listened to different versions of A Christmas Carol on audiobook, narrated by the likes of Tim Curry. I even got so caught up in this story that I listened to an audiobook about Jacob Marley's backstory. That was really interesting. So, anytime I find myself being a repeat offender on something, at some point I always got to stop and ask myself, why? Why do I keep going back time and time again to this story? What's so compelling about it? Well, one reason is Charles Dickens was such a skilled author at capturing the human condition in his stories. That may be one reason. Maybe because it's a story about the transformative power of charity. Maybe it's because I'm older and I realize that it would behoove me to take a look at the deeds that I've done throughout my life, charitable or otherwise, and see the impacts of those. Maybe it's because that personal inventory is such a useful tool for gauging my charitable impact. It's all of these probably. But mostly, it's about the idea that I really love a good story about charity and the transformation that it can make in one's life. And that's the thing about us shamans. We are all about the transformation. And this story is no exception. So, in Peruvian shamanism, we have a medicine wheel that contains 4 archetypical animals. And these animals contain medicine in the sense that they allow us to look at different aspects of our life's journey through different states of being. And the 4 archetypes are as follows. 1, we have serpent, and serpent allows us to shed our old stories and to look at our stories from a very factual point of view, removing all of the emotion from it. Jaguar tracks down our fears. It helps show us where we need to become fearless. Hummingbird expresses the sweetness of life, the things that we can do to ease the suffering on the path of life. Eagle condor, and that is a God, higher self perspective of our circumstances. Now, I am going to take the 4 spirits from the story A Christmas Carol, and I'm going to overlay them over these archetypes. Now, here's the huggy lowdown if you've never watched any of the Christmas Carol movies. Scrooge is a miserly old man, and in the course of one night he's visited by 4 spirits. 1, the ghost of Jacob Marley, who gives him a wake-up call. 2, the ghost of Christmas past, that shows him how his choices in the past informs the person he is in the present. 3, the ghost of Christmas present actually challenges his core belief that the unfortunate have recourse in workhouses and prisons. Therefore, he used these institutions as blinders to keep from seeing the suffering of other people. And the ghost of the Christmas yet to come shows Scrooge the outcome of living such a relationally impoverished life. Also, in this journey, he gets a taste of personalizing these poor wretches that he's condemned to the workhouses and prisons, and begins to see them as actual people. So we're going to start with Serpent first and take the ghost of Jacob Marley and overlay that over Serpent. And remember, Serpent has us shedding old stories and looking at our stories from a factual point of view. And the ghost of Jacob Marley is no exception. And his no-nonsense visit to Ebenezer, it was to relay this very message. Bro, this afterworld stuff is no joke. I've got these chains surrounding me like the coils of a serpent, representing all the deeds and the misdeeds, the commissions and omissions, and my neglectfulness of humanity, because I was all about the money. Don't let this be your story. Don't go out like I did, toting these heavy chains and money boxes throughout eternity. You know what? That was an act of love on Jacob Marley's part, disclosing these facts from beyond the beyond. Marley could have said nothing and said, all right, I'm going to let Ebby find out for his own self. The serpent medicine was indeed factual. Marley did indeed live a life devoted to money, and that devotion followed him to the grave and weighed his soul down. Now, we're going to look at Jaguar with the ghost of Christmas past. Now, this is where Ebenezer gets to confront his fears. The ghost of Christmas past took Scrooge on a journey to track down how he got to be how he was. How he got to be how he was is common to all of us. It was that fear of not having enough, that fear of not being enough, that fear of being unlovable. We go deeper into Scrooge's backstory, having seen how he was abandoned by his mother, who died in childbirth. His father blamed him for it and sent him away. And this makes for a very traumatic childhood. And Scrooge chose to deal with this traumatic childhood by running away from that pain and not celebrating Christmas at all as an adult. Now, how many times do we bah humbug the things that we want because they've eluded us for so long? We lie to ourselves and trick ourselves into believing that because a dream that we wanted to have come true didn't happen, that somehow it wasn't worth dreaming about, that it had no value because it didn't happen for us. This is delusional. Okay. Now, but before we get too sorry for Ebby or for ourselves, also recall that in Scrooge's story, we were given glimpses into little pockets of happiness that showed up amongst the trauma. He had the love of his sister Fran. He had Fezziwig's apprenticeship that taught him how to secure wealth. And Belle. And Belle, he wound up losing her. He lost her. Not realizing that growing love and growing finances were not mutually exclusive endeavors. Confronted with his fears, Ebenezer gets so mad and irritated at the ghost of Christmas past that he picks up the spirit's cap in order to extinguish that light out. The lesson of Jaguar here is that when we are finally confronted with our fears, we can't unsee them. We get a nagging sense in our souls that some work needs to be done. And we either do the work or we drown it out by engaging in some sort of behavior that winds up being uncharitable to ourselves and to other people. See, and Scrooge's issue, he was a workaholic. He couldn't be generous to anybody. He wasn't even generous to himself, even though he had the means to. He was sitting up, locked up with several locks on the door and sitting in this cold, dank, dark room, eating a little bitty bowl of gruel with no fire, even though he had well beyond the means to engage in some creature comforts, and he chose not to. And it makes me wonder if Ebenezer was, in fact, punishing himself subconsciously. We do that too when we believe that we're not worthy. Hummingbird, the ghost of Christmas present. Hummingbird deals with the sweetness of life, and what a sweet life the ghost of Christmas present represented. This spirit shows up decked out in this robe, all resplendent, rosy-cheeked and merry, with all the accoutrements of Christmas. A feast laid out at the feet. Pheasant, turkey, ducks, ham, fruits, puddings, lights, presents. Just beauty. Beauty all the way around. A whole nine. Oh, another aside note, I'm always amazed at how at this time of year we have a tendency to try and capture that picture-perfect moment of Christmas. And understand, please, that is a moment. And we can only be in the present. You know, and how much trouble we get ourselves into trying to snap that perfect holiday picture and make our lives look like that particular still life. Life is not like that. It's static, it moves, and it breathes. Sorry, I digress. Let me go back to the story. So, with the ghost of Christmas present, Scrooge gets a taste of other people's Christmas celebrations, and he starts participating in very imperceptible, very small ways, almost like it's innate in him that he wants to join in these festivities. And this change, this beginning spark of change, is something that you can really see evidenced in the 1984 version of A Christmas Carol starring George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge. Great performance. So, both Bob Cratchit's family and Scrooge's nephew Fred make mention of Scrooge during their celebration, but it's in not very glowing terms. Okay? The interesting thing is, though, even though both families, Bob Cratchit and Fred and his family, have some negative feedback that Ebenezer gets to hear. It's also not lost on me either that these were the same people that Scrooge looked down upon because of their Christmas frivolity. These same people, in their frivolity, were concerned on some level about the status of Ebenezer Scrooge's soul. And they were really holding space for him to improve. Also during this visit, Scrooge is introduced to Tiny Tim and introduced also to a family that chose not to go to a workhouse so that they could stay together. And remember, that was a core belief of Ebenezer Scrooge, that the workhouses and prisons were institutions that he paid taxes to in order to assist the poor, and that should be good enough. So with the introduction of these unfortunate people, there's some good news. This reveals that even Scrooge has the capability of becoming the wounded healer because of having suffered as a child and having a secret wish that his family would be together. He understood the suffering of another and begins to want to do something about it. And wanting to change always starts with an inquiry. Now we're going to move on to Eagle Condor, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Higher, self, God, perspective. There's a common condition that we all experience, and it's mortality. And the ghost of Christmas yet to come doesn't shy away from speaking about our mortality. Even though he doesn't really do a lot of speaking, in fact, none at all. He just points a bony finger telling Ebenezer which way he needs to go. In this instance, we see that we're coming full circle on the medicine wheel. Recall that the ghost of Jacob Marley, as represented by the serpent at the beginning of the medicine wheel, addressed Ebenezer's pending mortality. This spirit, the ghost of Christmas yet to come, addressed it on a higher level. That higher level of how Scrooge's life impacted or did not impact other people. No seed planted. No corn. Just one impoverished kernel was Ebenezer Scrooge. This spirit showed Ebenezer the outcome of a life that is lived just to serve itself. He couldn't even take his physical wealth with him after he died. All he had was the consequences of living a relationally impoverished life, resulting in a pauper's death, having his possessions pawned off, no one grieving, no one to leave his business to. The opportunity had well passed for him to be charitable to his employee, thereby averting Tiny Tim's untimely death. That's a really sad end to the story of one human being's life that had the capacity to impact others' lives in a positive way. So here we are. We're left at the story where Ebenezer is at his own gravesite, begging and pleading with the ghost of Christmas yet to come to spare him from this horrible outcome. Ebenezer Scrooge wakes up. It's Christmas morning. And he becomes a changed person after having examined his life through the medicine wheel via the four spirits. Now, you might have noticed that I said Ebenezer was seemingly changed. And I am saying seemingly changed. Not because I'm a skeptic, but I have the one question. Did Ebenezer Scrooge really change? Or had he become himself? The Scrooge that had always been enough, who had always had enough, and was always lovable. You see, Ebenezer Scrooge is actually an archetype of all of us. See, we all came here as thought forms of divine love and intelligence made manifest in the flesh. That means we're God's great idea. And this holds true whether we choose to recognize it or not. We all have these human experiences of tragedy, of trauma, of beauty and brilliance. We all have that gift of free will to choose to act in ways that honor our divinity or not, to heal or not. And the most charitable thing that we can do for ourselves is to examine and peel back the layers of our own stories in order to get back to that divine oneness where being charitable is an innate part of our loving nature. So this season, as the days grow shorter and as nature is experiencing almost a dark night of the soul, if you will, I invite each one of us to take our stories through the medicine wheel. Serpent, the shedding of our old stories from a factual point of view, not attaching any emotion to it. Jaguar, tracking down our fears, showing where we need to become fearless, especially in the exploration of our trauma. Hummingbird, seeing the sweetness of life and how that sweetness of life enables us to honor our true selves. And then Eagle Condor, getting a God higher perspective view of our circumstances, understanding that we neither live nor die in a vacuum. So I think the reason that I watch A Christmas Carol every year is to get in touch with this medicine. And I think that the medicine of this story is to do good while you can and as you can. This is the heart of charity. I think that even if we don't have anything monetary to give, the charity of our goodwill towards others, the charity of having an open heart, the charity of having a listening ear, can have unknowable, far-reaching impacts on ourselves and those who are blessed by the charity that we express. So with that, I bid you a happy holiday season, pod family, And in the words of Tiny Tim, God bless us, each and every one. Aho.
Thank you, Andrew. Just welcome to the crew. Great songs and perfectly matched. Thank you, my friend. And Jerry, it's always so good to hear from you, hear from your heart, and your talks are always so clear and planned out. Thank you for enlightening us on shamanism. Shout out to Philip Lupo and his crew, always taking our craziness and making it into a beautiful, seamless Sunday service. We are very grateful. If you have needs in the audio visual, whether they be virtual or in person, give Philip and his team a call. Go local and keep them busy. We have if you're watching the morning service, there's a Zoom right after from 11:45 to 12:15. If you're watching any of the other service, you missed it. You're not going to be able to see it because we don't record it. So you should see it on Sunday morning. You should come and see it with us. If you did miss that, we have a 5:45 showing that we rebroadcast, and then that broadcast is then pinned to the top of both the page and the group, so you can double back and see it later or send a friend. Next week we have Reverend Sue Bailey with Kristen Hope Justice, and they will be talking and singing about charity on Christmas Day. And just a shout out and a reminder, there will not be a deep dive next week. This week there is. Next week there will not be a deep dive.
Not on Christmas Day.
Because it will be Christmas. And we will not do that. That's all I know.
Okay. All right. We want to say thank you to everyone who has been tithing and sending donations. It's really good. It's helping keep this thing going and helping us do a lot of things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So if you would like to make a donation, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org. You can set up a regular tithe or a donation, love offering, do a one-time thing, whatever speaks to your heart. So just want to take a minute right now, take a breath, close your eyes if you feel so inclined. We want to say thank you for all of the abundance and the beauty and the knowledge and the love that surrounds the pod and all the people that are involved with it, and the making of it, and the audience, the watchers. We know this is a big domino effect, and we are really, really grateful for everything that we have and that we are doing. We say amen.
Amen.
Okay, last thing. Bring to your mind anything, anyone, any place, person, whatever, that might need a little bit of extra love. I know this is a difficult time of year for a lot of people. The holidays can be very stressful, bring up memories that aren't particularly pleasant sometimes, and so a lot of people are feeling rough emotionally right now. We're all supposed to be real happy, but that's not always the case. So if you know anyone that's in that boat, or you are yourself, put yourself in the middle of this circle and get some love on you. We're going to listen to this last song, Send Your Energy Out, open up and receive. And we thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in the deep dive or on the broadcast tonight. And we say thank you so much. Have a good week.
Have a great week.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you.